Welcome back to News to help you know the place you love to live. I'm Mayor Sue Ann Hohimer, and this...
Hi, I'm City Manager Amy Arrington, and thank you for joining us back for the next YouTube roundup video for the City Council meeting.
This is your opportunity to hear just a snippet of what took place at our most recent City Council meeting. The meeting began by having us invite a special representative. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Amy?
We were so honored to have our state representative, Tina Orwall, join us to the meeting. This is something the council does every year. This year was a little bit more specific. We had two items we really wanted to hear about. One was a bill that Tina sponsored herself. Representative Orwall and a few of her colleagues did House Bill 1477. This is going to create a call number just for special behavioral mental health issues.
Kind of like 911, right?
Exactly, and that's exactly one of the points she made. We have 911 for police, medical, and fire. But now if you're having some other issues, behavioral, mental issues, you now can call 988, and that should be coming sometime in 2022. Great. So we learned a lot more about that.
Mm-hmm. And that can help like a suicide hotline as well, right?
Exactly.
That's excellent. So then the other reason we had our state representative, Tina Orwall, visit us is we were specifically hoping that she would be able to shed some light on some recent legislation. I believe it's referred to as House Bill 1220. And we wanted to invite our very own planning commissioners to join us for the meeting. And we had quite a few questions for her about this bill that has to do with emergency services related to housing and homelessness. And the state has been requiring cities at different levels to take different steps towards providing housing and various services. And before we had our commission begin their work on how to address this issue, we just wanted to get some questions answered from our state representative, and it was excellent to have Tina Orwall in the House with us to be able to do that. So that resulted in the council going ahead and approving that the Planning Commission can take the next steps towards getting some work done on having a response from the City of Normandy Park to that legislation. Does that sound about right, Amy?
That does. And just to let everybody know, we're just talking about looking at our code and most likely just tweaking some of the definitions that already are in place and maybe adding some additional wording. So that will be something moving forward. So if you're interested, for right now, tune in to the Planning Commission meeting, which will eventually be going to the City Council for consideration.
Next, we moved on to the consent agenda, and typically that's just routine items that go through really quickly. This last session did have a section in our consent agenda that was a little bigger than normal. It involved our ARPA funds, and that's the American Rescue Plan Act funding. And I just thought it'd be good to alert people that even though it was a large amount of funding that we just approved as a council in one quick unanimous vote, I didn't want you to think we didn't have a lot of dialogue about it as we led up to that. But our chief handled that beautifully and made sure that each of us on council were really informed about how we can use those ARPA funds to make some needed purchases for our police department and our Emergency Services Center, which is right here in City Hall. So we were able to take care of some of those pretty seamlessly, and that did it for our consent agenda. Next, we moved on to our continued business. Amy, why don't you tell us about that?
Well, the first thing we did was we did an amendment to Title III, specifically related to water and sewer utility taxes. This is something that's from regard to sewer, it's already on the book. And what we wanted to do is, when it comes to water and sewer, we have 5 different agencies that provide those services to Normandy Park residents. So we just wanted to update the code to mainly encourage these groups to enter into a franchise agreement with the city, and also give some equity with regard to utility taxes or franchise fees, which is paid. Financially, it will not make an impact to majority of the customers, but some city residents might see a slight increase in their bill related to this. But if you have any questions, please give us a call here at City Hall.
Great. And now we should be even, Steven, kind of across the board with some consistency between all of those different franchises. Is that correct?
That is correct. And if we are not, we're on the path to get it there.
About the next item of continued business.
Well, the next thing we talked about were the city council goals.
We've been talking about that for a little while now, and I think we realize we still have a little ways to go. And so it seems to me the outcome of that discussion was to go ahead and establish that we will have a second meeting of the council for this month as kind of a workshop format, where we will again visit the goals as an item of discussion. So far, that's the only item on the agenda. Is that right?
That is correct, and I'm hoping September 28th, that is the only item to really give the council a chance to focus on those important discussions.
Great. If you want more specifics on that, I believe that we'll be sending out a notice of that Tuesday, September 28th meeting, and that should include the agenda for the night, and the specifics will be there. Is that right?
That is right.
All right. Thank you.
And we went into new business, and the first item was a very important item. It was Resolution 978. This was a levy that we asked, it was a resolution regarding the upcoming levy lead lift. A very important subject matter. As probably most Normandy Park residents know, we did do a levy lid lift back in 2016. This was something that we needed to do when we looked at our property taxes and the ability to support both police services and our street maintenance. Just very quickly, the Washington property tax system is a bit complicated and very restrictive. And as Normandy Park being a residential community, we rely heavily on our property taxes, which are capped at a 1% growth per year, no matter what the inflation is. So this is an important revenue stream that helps us maintain our own department at the levels we feel that are best for the protection of our public. Now, it still is in place till 2022, till the end of the year. So the council's decided to be proactive and go ahead and ask the voters to consider approving it for another 6 years, starting in 2023. And what this resolution did was explain the importance of it, what it was about, and urge all our voters, our residents, to vote yes on Proposition 1 when you cast your vote in the November 2nd general election.
Yes. So the full council gave its full approval, and this resolution allowed us the opportunity to say, as your council members, all of us unanimously are in favor of this levy lid lift, and we really want you all to vote yes in favor of it. Our police are near and dear to our hearts. They serve our community so well, and everything from house checks to being there for us in times of important emergency. We are very grateful for their services. So, levy's coming up, that levy lid lift, vote yes. Next, we continued on to other new items on the agenda, and we moved on to the Arts Commission appointment of Samantha Pabone. She will be an excellent new addition to our Arts Commission, and that is a mayoral recommendation in terms of who to appoint, and that was a unanimous decision. It was passed, and we look forward to welcoming Samantha Pabone, a wonderful community member, to the position, I think it's position number 2 on our Arts Commission. So welcome to her. We went on from there to discuss our Miller-Hull contract. And Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, this is just a continuation of the work we're doing with the new Civic Center that is coming forward for the public. We have been working on this project for quite some time, and we want to get a little bit more information so we really can start reaching out to the public, letting you know what is coming forward, and also work on possibly our capital campaign that's looking to kick off sometime later on. So what we did is we did a approval of a contract. We're going to be giving Miller-Hull, our architect, authorization to work on a site plan that reflects the new reduced programming approved by the City Council. And we're also going to be creating some renderings that will help the city and the public have a better understanding what's coming to you in the future.
In other words, we want some really cool, pretty pictures to put on our brochures so that when we're out and about talking to you about the potentials for a brand new Civic Center, you can get a little bit of a visual of what we might be talking about. During this interim time where we may not have a full use of our Civic Center right now, we are really thrilled that we can continue a partnership with the City of Des Moines through their Des Moines Senior Services They have a partnership with us. We signed an ILA every year so that in this interlocal agreement with them, they offer programs to our seniors from Normandy Park. And they have a wide array of possibilities for people that are seniors living in Normandy Park to participate with them in their Des Moines Senior Services. And we really hope that you will take advantage of that, especially during the time when our own recreation center is not able to be used. So if you look below in a link underneath this video, you should be able to find a link to that Normandy and Des Moines Senior Services. If you just click that link, you can get more information there about the activities that they have coming up for seniors that are from Normandy Park. In one of the community reports from the officers, our council member, Patrick McDonald, he also gave just a little snippet of what's coming up at next month's meeting, where the EDC, the Economic Development Committee, will be reporting out on some very significant findings from a consultant firm that they worked with that talks a little bit about the economic activity in Normandy Park's retail area. So if you're interested in that, be on the lookout because those notes will be coming out soon, and that will be a report at our next City Council meeting.
But just want to encourage the residents, if there's anything that you heard of interest in this brief summary, we encourage you to visit the city's website at normandyparkwa.gov. And through that website, you can actually click on the video and watch the entire meeting and get all the information and the details of the items we talked about today.
We'll end this with some calm, and we'll just say, we'll see you in the park.